Not waste your time. And first of all, I just want to go ahead and get rid of all of the elephants in the room. And I want to say that whatever Rebecca Yardley said is what needs to happen. And that is not her truth. That is the truth. She is a big, bright ball of fire, and any organization would be blessed to have her serve. Unfortunately, today I'm here to paint differences not between her specifically and Josh, but between Josh and everyone, because he is who he is. And let me tell you a story. It starts when a young 5th grader, Josh McKoon, decided to run for SGA against an 8th grader. He would get up in front of the school, he'd put forth his platform, and then he would lose handedly. However, this gumption, this robust nature, this go-with-it attitude would serve him well. As the youngest attorney in the state history to try and win a Supreme Court case, he represented a group of citizens to go against the Muskogee County School Board District for misallocations of funds. And he would win that case. And then he would very naively, like Mr. Smith goes to Washington, go to Atlanta as at the time the youngest senator ever elected in the state of Georgia. And he went there thinking that a Republican legislature would be in favor of conservative ideals. But they were not, and he learned it very quickly. After a few years and being rewarded, well, I'll get to that in a second, he carried the ideals that you hear about today: religious freedom, school choice. He sat there from the rafters and screamed from the podiums, and he would tell us what would happen and what we see now going on. Now, many think that life in the legislature is glamorous and fun, but let me tell you something. We sat there and we were put through the fire. And there were trials and tribulations that you would not believe. He was stripped of his leadership position. It was political suicide to be seen speaking to him in the hallways. They put him in a proverbial prison, but let me tell you something about prisons. They have visiting hours. And God made possible the impossible through my husband, Josh McKoon. And those hours and those visitors would come in the form of many phone calls from House members and senators. And this is how the conversation would go. Senator, we sure are sorry that we had to tar and feather you today to make an example of what not to do with these controversial issues. But you know how it is. I've got some legislation. Would you mind giving me some wisdom and advice? And then the cherry on top caveat that would always end the conversation with, can I do something for you? And the answer is always, yes, sir, I have got a bill. It's going to be good for you, good for your district, good for the conservative movement, good for the people of Georgia. Don't let anybody know that I am part of it. Put your name on it. We will get it through the Senate, get it through the House, put it on the governor's desk and signed into law. And do you know what they did? If I told you how many bills got through that General Assembly through other people, you would be amazed, and it would be seemingly impossible. But I sat there and I watched him resist the lobbying dollar. I sat there and I watched a billboard go around the state capitol with my husband's face on it, calling him a wife beater because of his stance on religious liberty. I comforted him during a GBI investigation, but guess what? He was allegedly threatening to withhold funds from the Muskogee County School District for not spending money properly. I saw him stand strong against a media mob that would come after him over and over. I listened to the death threats that we got on a daily basis, and we were not out getting lobbied and dollared and dimed. We were getting publicly assaulted. And that's what happened. And that, if I'd had my way, and I don't always get what I want, he would have gone along to get along and played nice, and we would have gotten a nice cush appointment on the Georgia Supreme Court, because that sounds lovely to me. Justice Josh McKoon sounds good to me. But he was not going to have it, because the truth is, long before he ever laid eyes on me, he was in love with you and the foundational values of this party. And he was passionate about it. And he stood strong, and he did not waver, and he did not move. And there was nothing that was going to make him move away from you, his first love. Not even me. And I tell you what, just like you don't know what you don't know, we all need to get on our hands and knees and thank the good Lord above that he didn't give me what I wanted so that we could have what we need. We're about to enter the most volatile, I can't even speak about it. Politics is going to get ugly. And don't come to me talking about party politics, because we all know that there is much larger, sinister forces at play. This is not just about Republican and Democrat. And what we need is somebody that has withstood the fire. What we need is somebody that has not been swept away by the rapids or the currents of the river. What we need is somebody that is not going to blow over and break from a gust of wind or the hurricane forces that are going to come, and they are coming. Josh did run for Secretary of State. I didn't feel real good about it. I didn't like it. I did not participate in the campaign. I did not have a peace in my spirit. He would have been good at it, capable, but it did not mean that he was chosen for it, and it didn't mean that it was the right time for him to do it. But I can stand here today and tell you with every fiber in my being that not only do we need a leader to withstand all that stuff, but I want somebody as shrewd as a serpent and as harmless as a dove to lead